There's this one big problem that exists with trans people that stems into a lot of daily dilemmas that they have to go through. And if I was to simplify it, it's basically not knowing if you look like a man or a woman. I swear it sounds dumb, but it's not, because transitioning is a process, right? And when you're midway through that process or somewhere in between, you just don't know.
Well, why don't you just look in a mirror?
Sometimes you just can't tell. Maybe you're at a point in your transition where you're like in between, or you're just really bad at assigning people and things genders. I may go up to someone and they see me as a woman, and then I may go up to like their friend and they'll see me as a guy. So everyone sees gender differently, and that's another problem, because if you see yourself as a girl, other people may not. There's always going to be that person who's just, way too good at finding people's assigned gender at birth. Along with that, trans people way overanalyze themselves. For example, like a pretty person may look in the mirror and point out all their flaws and be able to say, yeah, I'm not pretty, even though other people would say they're like a baddie. I'm going to say the same thing is true for trans people in my experience. They look for their flaws specifically. So when they're trying to decipher if they're passing or not, it can be a very difficult process. I know that some of y'all get me because I cannot be the only one with this experience. So you may be asking, what are the dilemmas? The dilemmas of not knowing if you pass or not, at least in my experience. The biggest one is clothing. Now, clothing can aid in passing really well. When you do not know if you pass or not, you're really taking a risk when you wear feminine clothing. The more feminine your clothing is, the more likely you are to pass. But the more feminine your clothing is, the more likely someone is to clock you. And I'm not, that's too much of a risk for me. Another one is like being uncomfortable using your preferred name. And this isn't so much of a dilemma, but it's more like just horrible. Because when you don't know if you pass or not, and you don't know how the other person is clocking you as male or female, it can be difficult to, openly share with them a preferred name or not. Because it's like, what if they see me as a girl and I give them the name like Benjamin, not my legal name, or vice versa. And I have this problem too. I'm so scared to give out my name to people that I am just meeting for the first time because I don't know what they're gonna think. And now I'm really thinking, why didn't I pick like a name like Max? It is what it is. It's too late now. The other dilemma is sports. Because if you don't know if you pass, what team are you supposed to play for? Because, for example, as a trans girl, if I play for the girls team and someone clocks me, like, they might be mad, right? But if I play for the boys team, then people are just gonna be like, what the flip? So in this situation, it's better for me to be on the boys team, but I would rather not play on the boys team. But at the same time, I really don't want to be clocked and hate crimed if I run on the girls team. Especially because I've been told I look like Bella Ramsey when I have my hair up. And no hate to Bella Ramsey, but they're also non-binary, and I'm not going for non-binary. Then there's the restroom dilemma, which is probably the worst one. If you're a trans girl and you use the female washroom, there's a chance that you get clocked, and in some places, there's a chance you get hate crimed. There's also just awkward encounters, like maybe, what are you doing here? If you use the men's restroom, you have a way out of using it, right? Like you say, I'm literally a guy, I'm male, what are you saying? I just present feminine. But there's also the possibility you run into a weirdo in the men's restroom. And when you don't know if you pass or you're not entirely passing yet, it's kind of a risky gamble. And then for those of us who date, it's like, oh my God, this is difficult. Asking someone out and the chance they say no is pretty bad. But now asking someone out and maybe having an increased chance of them saying no because maybe you don't pass yet, it's pretty bad. Also, being hate crimed, but I've said that enough. Finally, and I think this one applies to me a lot, but posting unfiltered photos and videos, oh my God, I could never. Not for the reason that I'm chopped, but for the reason that I'm afraid that I look really masculine in my photos, especially with the front selfie camera. That thing, I hate that thing. I just put a filter on it to the point where I look feminine enough in post. I almost dropped my laptop off my bed. Anywho, that's my 2 cents on the trans dilemma of not knowing if you pass or not, or just not yet passing. And thank you for watching.